Ran quite late, I presume. Sir, the man asked quietly, walking up to you, now towering over you in a height as he offers you the other coffee he wasn't drinking. He looks right at you, not breaking eye contact or blinking, with an unnerving smile forming on his face. Yeah, it's been something, that's for sure. Do I not remember this fucking... Like, if anything, I'd remember this hair. Do I not remember this hair? You say as you look at the drink he offers you. Thanks for the drink, but that's yours. I feel bad taking it. You tell him, waving your hands in front of you gently. He smiles, giving a gentle nod. It is quite all right. Let me assist you with that. You look like you could use a good coffee right now. He takes a sip of his coffee, still offering you his other untouched coffee, as his piercing crimson eyes linger on you, never unwavering. You reluctantly take it, only drinking it because you felt like you would pass out from exhaustion soon. Thank you, you say as you take a sip of it, not caring what is in it at the time. As you drink it, he flashes an eerie smile. Why, it is my pleasure. I usually get the specialty blend here, but it's quite exquisite, really. You would think, as a homicide detective that is currently living in a city rampant with homicide cases, being somebody who has also been kidnapped and their fiance murdered, I would be a little more hesitant to take and drink things from strangers. Like, we know he's not a stranger, but the way that we know him is still not good. Hopefully, it is to your tastes. He questions in a calm tone as he takes another sip. You savor the taste for a moment before responding. Wow, you like this blend too? You say with a slight chuckle at the relief of getting a good drink. I do. You indeed have good taste. You chuckle as he smiles and chuckles to himself lightly as well. You both stand there in silence, listening to the wind howl outside before he speaks up. I must say, I am quite curious. Why are you out here all alone at this hour? He questions, tilting his head lightly with a gentle smile. Why are my warning bells not going off? Like, hello? Don't worry about what I'm doing. Long story short is, it's a whirlwind. You chuckle dryly, trying to find humor to keep your sanity at bay from all that happened these past few hours. What about you? You question, curious on his response. I'm headed to a crime scene. The nature of my work involves me heading to crime scenes from time to time. I must head to the station first, though. I don't suspect you'd want to join me. Well, he can't fucking be a cop because look at his hair. That can't be regulation. And also, he has no idea where we're going. Why would we just accompany him? Why would he just offer us to go to the station with him? Like, we're going to the station, but he's not supposed to know that. He chuckles lightly as he takes a sip of his coffee. You know? You examine his face more, and it felt like you've seen him before. Do I know you? You question as you take another sip of your coffee. We have seen each other, but I would say that we have yet to formally make each other's acquaintance. I see, Detective Cece. He bows slightly, and you're caught off guard from his formality, not even realizing he extended his hand out to you. The silence pierced the city as you and the doctor never broke eye contact, yet didn't exchange words. How do I know he's called the doctor? He never told me his name. You place your hand in the palm of his to shake his hand. His hands were huge compared to yours, but he held your hand ever so gracefully, as if it would break, if he ever squeezed your hand in the slightest. Dr. Lavender Storm, pleasure to make your acquaintance. What a name. He blushes slightly, bringing his hand with yours in it up a little, kissing the top of your hand gently with his smooth lips, still keeping eye contact. After kissing your hand, he nods towards your response earlier with a gentle nod. This doctor had a frightening but eerily calm aura around him. You both stare at each other for a few more seconds. No words exchanged. "Nice to meet you as well," you say, taken aback by his overly formal greeting. His cold fingertips slide against your palm slowly as he retracts his hand to rest against his side. His unnerving smile sent a chill up your spine. He certainly was a unique individual. But his gaze is intoxicating. You slowly pull your hand back from his and place it at your side. He stops bowing and fixes his posture, afterwards giving a gentle nod towards you. The doctor was a very tall man, and if he had not been so formal towards you, you would have felt like his presence was very threatening like earlier. Maybe it was his leering crimson eyes, but the way he looked at you felt endearing. Endearing! His leering crimson eyes. So sweet. Love the way you're leering at me. You nodded off and thought that maybe he was trying to be sweet to make up for the uncanny vibes he gave off. "You really shouldn't be out here at night on your own. It's not quite safe. Where is your next destination?" Dr. Storm inquires with a gentle tone, his crimson eyes piercing yours. You felt as if they were piercing into your soul, like he knew everything about you, but you knew not the slightest about him. "Actually, I was headed the same way as you, although I didn't know there was a crime scene tonight." You question as you never received a call for it, taking a sip of your coffee. "I was notified not even 10 minutes ago. I presume they just found this out." You nod in response to him as you both kept eye contact, and the silence was deafening. You avert your eyes, breaking the contact early. Dr. Storm tilts his head for a brief moment, but doesn't question it. "Allow me to walk you there, as we are headed in the same direction." "Thanks." You give a gentle smile as you both walk towards the direction of the station. "So," you question, trying to initiate conversation to not make the long walk to the station awkward. "Have you worked investigations before? I haven't seen you at any here." "I'm an independent consultant, so I've been hired by the authorities to assist them in investigating crimes, so that's why I'm here. I have in fact been working these cases for some time now. We just haven't crossed paths yet due to your leave of absence." "Well, how do you know that?" You question suspiciously as you both take the shortcut through the park. "And what field do you work in?" He chuckles lightly at your words, and a sly grin appears on his face as he throws away his coffee in a nearby trash bin. "Let's just say that information is key in my line of work." You raise a brow towards him and narrow your eyes, suspicious of him playfully. "Yeah, definitely not suspicious at all," you say sarcastically. "I am currently a doctor, but I have had many other professions, including some in the field of psychiatry." Let's just switch topics, and then we'll come back and ask him questions about what the fuck he's talking about. You decide to switch topics, for the better. "Weird. I feel like I've heard of you somewhere. I just can't pinpoint it." You narrow your eyes, trying to ponder. After a moment of contemplation, he responded. "I see. You're a very observant individual." So observant. "We have met before. You were one of my patients. I do hope you're doing better now after that unfortunate incident." He pauses for a moment to ponder before continuing. "But it seems your memory could be repressed, so I'd understand completely if you forgot." He gives an uncanny smile, making you look out into the city. "Patient?" Jolting back frightened, Dr. Storm catches you in his arms as you fall to the ground. You place your hands on your head and grasp a clutch of your hair, tugging on it rough to try to ground yourself. You tightly shut your eyes and started breathing heavily. You saw Dr. Storm's mouth moving, but were unable to hear any audible noise Dr. Storm spoke. You try to control your breathing, but you're way too shaken up. Concentrate on your breathing. Stay in the present, he says in a gentle voice, his voice in the moment reminding you of when Alfred used to comfort you. Deep breath, steady and calm breath in, and slowly breathe out. You try to focus on your breathing, listening to his words. This will roll over you, and you can overcome this. He responds again, calm and patient. You nod frantically towards Dr. Storm's words, his voice coming clearer to you now. Connect with your breath and your senses. You nod, calming down slightly. What do you hear? You take a moment to listen to your surroundings. The wind. What do you see? You feel your breathing slowly going back to normal again. You look around the city, examining it in further detail. Neon lights. Your body slowly stops shaking as much, calming down. What can you touch? You look down to the ground you were against. The pavement. You finally are able to look around and regain movement. You're doing very well. How do you feel? You nod, unsure of how to respond. What was that? You ponder to yourself of what you saw flash through your mind, but you were afraid to think of it too much, not wanting to have another panic attack. You try to push yourself to stand. Please take as much time as you need. I'm here to help you. There's no need to rush. I think I feel a little better. He gently takes your hand. His eyes are soft but also piercing at the same time, and he smiles again. Dr. Storm helps you stand up and offers his arm to support you by your back with a warm and calm presence. I am deeply sorry that I have brought you back to a not-so-pleasant place, he says with honesty in his voice and concern. You wave your hands, hearing his apology. Thank you. I know it wasn't intentional of you. Wasn't it, though? Like, what the fuck else could he mean by you were one of my patients and due to that incident? Like, wouldn't we still be curious about that? My memory has just been fuzzy these days. You stand there in awkward silence for a moment before speaking up. Thank you, though, for helping me through it. You give a gentle, weak smile to him. It was the least I could do. The very least. He gives you a small nod and smiles to you. His appearance was uncanny, but his calm, gentle tone and kindness reminds you of Alfred. It made you feel more comforted, more safe. Shall we continue walking? He questions gently, seeing you were lost in your thoughts. Oh, yeah, sure. You shake your head as you continue walking with him. What am I thinking? You tell yourself in an attempt to shake the thought away as you both walk to the station. Okay, now we're gonna ask him, what the fuck are you talking about, my guy? What? He smiles slightly before continuing. I only know of this information from Gabriel. Huh, you two must be close, huh? Who's Gabriel? You question, curious about this man. Quite so, he is family after all. He gives a gentle nod as his crimson eyes pierce yours once again. He called upon me to help out in this investigation, and I was more than happy to. Who the fuck is Gabriel? Family? You ponder to yourself. I don't believe he's ever mentioned you. Although I hadn't really had the chance to talk to him out of work. I don't really know him personally either, so... You shrug it off afterwards. Dr. Storm nods and hums for a moment. My brother is good at his job, but I feel his personal life is getting the best of him, hence why he has recruited me in this investigation. You must have been recruited after I went on my leave. Yes, that's correct. I see. You thought for a moment before he chimed in, noticing the apprehension in your voice before speaking. Do not worry. I most certainly will not threaten your job position. You take a deep sigh of relief. You had me worried for a moment. You chuckle lightly, getting a small chuckle out of him as well. I've heard many things about you as well, Cece. He flashes an eerie smile that makes you question what he's exactly heard, making the hairs on your arms stand up. All good things, nothing out of the ordinary. You both share a chuckle together once again as you both arrive at the station. Okay, I wanted to see what other things we could click on, because we went to the desk and we couldn't really read anything in the journal, so we've got some cabinets here. You decided to walk near the shelves to inspect what was on them. As you continue to walk through the shelves of books, you see a hidden journal in the back. Oh, and then she caught us. Damn! Okay, what about this cabinet? Curious of what was in the cabinets, you open them to see a few empty wine glasses and beside it, a half-empty wine bottle. I guess even therapists need a break. Damn! Alright, well, let's go over here. The drawer is slightly open, making you curious of what was in it. Opening the drawer by just barely, you find the drawer full of kid toys. Oh! We didn't get caught. Okay, there has to be a specific order to this. So, desk? See a journal. Nope, not the desk. A cabinet. Nope. This cabinet. Okay, it was that cabinet. So then desk. Okay, and then this one? Aw, I was hoping something would happen. Was there something else that I need to click on? That was weird. Did you see that? I was just trying to click on shit. You decide to see what was on the TV. That's all for the broadcast tonight. If we find any more information regarding to the homicide cases, we'll keep you updated. It switches back to the newscast lady. Thank you, Florent. Now back. But please remember, everyone, there's more people missing from this case, he says as he pulls out missing people flyers and showing them live on TV. No one is helping find these people and bring justice to them and their families. I believe this goes deeper than just one killer and... Okay, thank you, Florent, for the update, the newscaster says quickly, interrupting the other news reporter, as the news reporter seems hurt by it. It finally switches over to the newscasters. On some lighter news, Dr. Storm will be holding a charity event soon. You decide to shut off the TV and keep looking around. Okay, then maybe up here? You try to move the book in front of it slightly to see the cover of the journal, but find that a picture slipped out of it, falling down onto the back of the shelf. Bending down to reach your hand into the shelf and grab the picture, you drag your hand against the back of the shelf until you feel the picture. Grabbing the picture, you bring your hand back up to your side and stand again to put the picture back in the journal. Before you put the picture back, you can't help but take a look. You place the picture back in the journal, not bothering to open it to peek inside. That was weird. The picture was burned exactly on where his body is burned. Sounds like witchcraft to me. You both see the journal fall off the shelf and the picture you saw not too long ago fall off of it as well. Ophelia backs up and stares at the photo that has fallen from her journal in shock. You sit in quiet, not knowing what to do, as you never have seen her like this. Ophelia? Ophelia starts breathing heavily, her breath coming shallow as she starts sweating profusely. She seems to be fully focused on the photo, your voice most likely deflecting off her ears. Tears stream down her cheeks as she falls to the floor and picks up the burnt photo. She tries to form words in her mouth as she sits on the ground to pick it up. She utters words that you can't hear. She stares at it for a moment in disbelief at the picture before she starts sobbing uncontrollably. Foxy. She keeps saying over and over, holding the picture, sobbing uncontrollably. Who did this? She cries loudly, holding the picture, as her finger brushes against the burnt part of the picture. Ophelia, what is it? She continues sobbing loudly, looking at the picture. Please leave me alone to grieve, she says quickly as she sobs uncontrollably. I think she's sobbing uncontrollably. From her tone, you can tell that she is too deep into her emotions. I'll talk to you later. She manages to get out in a sob as she continues sobbing, wheezing. You don't know what to do other than leave the office. Hey, Calliope, let's go have fun. Okay, we're getting our ID. Leon shows up. Hey, buddy. You continue walking to Ophelia's office, ignoring the awkward interaction. The only thing you can hear is the air conditioner running outside and sobs. Aw, she's still in there crying. After opening the stairwell doors, you look in the distance to find Ophelia's office. You hear faint sobbing in her office the closer you got towards her office. As you step in, you try to speak, but without even looking up, Ophelia spoke. "Leave me be," she yells as she still cries without facing you. "Sorry, I didn't know." Ophelia hears your voice but still can't face you. "I apologize," she says as the room fell silent for a moment. I believe I lost my badge here. Care if I look around?" Ophelia nods as she still faces the ground. "I don't mind. Please just leave me to grieve." You nod, not knowing what else to do, and continue to search for your badge until you find it near the cabinets. Once you get your badge, you walk out quickly, awkwardly. You walk to the sidewalk to call a cab. Okay, so let's see. As your car was in the shop for repairs, so let's see. Okay, so we've actually got a cab this time. Oh, and that's it. Okay, we're turning around to go apologize. Although, again, I don't feel like we have anything to apologize for. And we hear her talking on the phone. I understand. You hear talking on the phone, but are unable to make out who or what they were saying. I have just finished my second to last session. I shall be over there momentarily. You decide to step closer by an inch to hear the conversation better, but alas, it was to no avail. Must I ride with him? Ophelia sighs as whatever she was told sounded like a hassle to her. Fine, I see then. I will head over there. Ophelia then hangs up the phone and packs her belongings together. You try to find a way to get up and act like you've walked in without her knowing you were accidentally listening in on her conversation. Ooh? 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 As you got up thinking she isn't looking, you saw Ophelia turn and hear you. Ophelia didn't seem pleased. Were you spying on me, Cece? Despite the soothing tone of her voice, those words carry enough frost to give you chills. No, this isn't what it looks like. I just wanted to apologize for earlier. You tell her as you wave your hands frantically in front of her. I didn't mean to yell earlier, and I didn't want to interrupt your conversation. I'm sorry. Saying this, you hope Ophelia will forgive you. Ophelia gives you a displeased look. Thank you for your apology, but I must go now. I have another patient. Excuse me. You see a car park in the street behind Calliope's car. Ophelia walks towards this car as you have to walk past her to get to Calliope's car. The driver inside you can't see well, except that they had black hair and a dirty white tank top on. Before she gets in the car, you decide to call out to her. Sorry about earlier. Ophelia nods at your words, without showing much emotion, and gets in the car with a stranger. After she gets in the car, you see it speed off less than a minute from her getting in. Ophelia will remember that. Uh-oh. Getting in Calliope's car, you sigh, feeling bad. Wow, who pissed in her cereal? Me. Passed. What does that mean? I just clicked while she wasn't there. You stand up quickly and go to the center of the room, walking up to Ophelia as if you had just entered. Ophelia turns around and glances towards you. Hey girl, yes? Oh, I've just got here. Sorry, I guess, for saying you're a dick. Don't apologize, it's okay. Ophelia smiles softly with a light nod. Nodding to her response, you're unsure of how to respond, but smile back. It is awkward for a moment as she looks right at you, not breaking eye contact or blinking with an unnerving smile. You both stare at each other for a few more seconds, no words exchanged. Well, I should go now, you tell Ophelia in an attempt to break the piercing silence. Ophelia gives an unnerving smile to you from your response. I will await your next visit with bated breath. Okay, bye. Okay, so I went all the way back to this pleasantness, and it looks like, so I was playing around with like the watch and don't watch, so I did not watch the first one, and then I watched the second one. Now we're all caught up. The man's accomplices turn towards the door and leaves the room after abruptly, without notice. The man's accomplices turn towards the door and leaves the room after abruptly without notice. The grammar in this game is... It seems as if someone motions them over there, but the faces from the distance are unidentifiable. The accomplice's boss didn't seem too thrilled about this. Tears stream down your cheeks as all you can do is watch in horror at the scene in front of you. Come now, this man is not worthy of any of your tears, my doll. Your eyes do not see it yet, but he is a conniving serpent. You hear the man turn your direction and say to you. He then walks up to you once again, but opens the glass case to your coffin this time. Get away from me, you disgusting freak! You muster up your strength yelling at him. After you stop yelling, he is quiet for a moment, his crimson eyes burning into your memory. My doll, he says in a sweet voice to you as he nears his face to yours. You were watching, were you not? He questions you, tilting his head, his gaze never wavering. Gulping, you tried very hard to not respond to this man without cussing him out. Trying to stay strong and remain silent, you grit your teeth. Aw, come now, doll, don't give me the silent treatment. The man then nears his head towards you, then proceeds to put his tongue on your collarbone and drag it all the way up to your forehead. Ew. You shudder in disgust as he does this. When he gets done, he adjusts his face back in front of yours again. I got a perfect tongue, if that's what you're afraid. Yep, that's what I was afraid of. He smirks towards you, licking his lips. You fucker. You swear to him under your breath. You'll come to love me, the man says in a raspy voice, still smirking. The man's accomplice walks back in the room in a slight rush, then proceeds to wave the man over. Once the man takes notice of this, he sighs and locks up the coffin you lie in again. Pardon the intrusion. Excuse me for a moment, Cece. The man tells you calmly before walking over to his accomplice, then stepping out of the room. The man says as himself and his accomplice leave the room. Okay, can we get Alfred? Grabbing and holding onto his hand, you go in the dark, ominous room first and lead him through it as the room is filled with mutilated corpses and items thrown around. Alfred patrolled behind while you were checking the front. You stop in your tracks and glance back at Alfred, then squeezing his hand to do the same. What happened with the last shipment? Hearing the man's voice from before, your stomach churns as you see him stand behind the counter in the direction you and Alfred had to go. On top of the counter is an unconscious man tied onto it. As he stood behind the counter, he got his scalpel and started cutting open the unconscious man. A certain someone decided to take them. The accomplices from before scoff. Seeing the man's expression, he seems upset, to say the least. He remained silent for a few moments as he cut open the chest of the now conscious man. I will handle this myself, then, the man says in a low growl as he proceeds with his work. The accomplices didn't dare to speak. We have to find a way past them, you think to yourself as you turn to Alfred for ideas. Alfred has an unsure expression for a moment until he points to the other side of a counter the man isn't on. Turning to where he pointed and pondering for a moment, you understand what he means. I want the next shipment to be sent out by 3 a.m., understand? The man says as he pulls the man's guts out, making him scream in anguish. Understood. What do we do? The man hops over the counter and slams you onto the floor. Alfred! Oh no. Yeah, he got chainsawed. Oops. You scream with everything as the man guts him and slams his lifeless body on the cold concrete next to you, Alfred's organs hanging out from his body. Trying to form words in your mouth, you frantically go to Alfred's side to attempt to try to help him, although all your efforts are fruitless. Alfred's lifeless eyes stare straight into your soul as tears stream down your puffy cheeks. You scream Alfred's name until air can't properly inflate your lungs. You knew his fate, but you didn't want to believe it. Tears form in your eyes until you're sobbing and shaking uncontrollably. The man's piercing crimson gaze then diverts to you and doesn't unlatch. You've been quite rude. I've been so rude. Me. So rude. He says as he turns off the chainsaw and places it on the counter, afterwards handed a sledgehammer by his accomplices. I didn't want to resort to this, but you leave me no choice. The man says with a calm voice as he raises his sledgehammer. Wheezing sobs, you gasp in panic, unable to breathe. Get away from me. You scream as you try to back up, but before you can back up quickly enough, he slams the sledgehammer onto your leg, snapping your bones and making you scream in agony. Oof. My doll, please try to be still. Do it for the sake of our future family. He smiles towards you at the end as he proceeds to lift up the sledgehammer again while you attempt to crawl once again. The sledgehammer slams down on your other leg, snapping your bones. Your vision feels hazy and your body grows weak. Diverting your eyes to your legs, you see them twisted to hell and the bone popping out of your skin. I know it's a lot of pain to endure, but I will fix you up in no time. Then we can continue our matrimony. As you scream in agony and try to get away from him, he gently picks you up effortlessly in his arms and carries you away from the scene. You feel yourself fading in and out of consciousness, unable to proceed or do anything about what is happening in this moment. Don't worry, my doll. I'll take care of you. Oh no! There's something I'm supposed to do? What? There's a second counter. Whoa. What do I do? Passed. Oh, I guess I just had to click real on the left. You and Alfred hold your breath and proceed to crawl under the counter while the man above has his attention diverted the other way. As you near the door, you check both sides of the hallway to see it empty. Squeezing Alfred's hand lightly, you both quietly enter the hallway and proceed straight as quickly and quietly as possible. Let's go, Alfred. You glance back to Alfred and whisper to him with a nod before directing your attention back in front of you. As you and Alfred proceed walking down the halls, alert, you notice a huge room ahead. Oh, hello, body shoot. Yeah. Well, that was Sterile Desires. The full game is gonna be a doozy. But I hope that it comes out soon. I know that there's a prequel that's coming out. That kind of references something that happened in 1970. Like our character was talking about, or Ophelia was talking about something that happened to us in 1970. And I think the prequel game is going to be about that. And then I guess this game is going to be about what the fuck all that was. I'm really hoping that the game kind of expands on Ophelia's offer. For other reasons. Don't drink coffees from strangers, please, especially when you're out alone in the middle of the night. And I will see you later.